All right, now let's isolate these ideas of frequencies and take a look at this whole thing through frequencies. For this, we are going to concentrate and focus mainly on the mind component, the spirit component, and the soul component. That's not because the physicality is unimportant. In fact, the physicality is very important, especially for your life here on Earth. And on that point, let me say this. Any real spirituality, and I mean real spirituality, not, okay, these are a whole bunch of ideas I have picked up along the way of life, and I'm calling them spirituality, or I'm calling them religion. We're not talking about that. Those are ideas. Those are, okay, well, this is my idea of how it is, or these are my ideologies of what I think, or these are simple truths I picked up along the way. I'm talking about real spirituality, and that means something that ties you into the righteousness system. In essence, that's what real spirituality is. It affects your cells. It's affecting your cells. It literally is affecting you at a cellular level. That is not a joke. The reason that happens is because you have four components, and the body component, in other words, my physiological self, works in conjunction with the other three components. And you can take that and bring it out into the entirety of the universe if you want to. It's the same principle. If you only want to think in terms of Earth, the same principle works with Earth as one single thing. Your cells are being affected. And the reason your cells are being affected is because of the frequency. That's why we're looking at the frequency, the vibrational frequency is very important to this understanding of quality control, so we can make sense of how it really works. Let's look at this. Now, the cosmos. We're looking at the cosmos and we're saying, okay, this is the creation. This is what we know of as creation. Now, we can't see very far, but there's 100 billion or more galaxies. It's a very big place, an incredibly big place with only God knows what living out there inside of it. I mean, we don't really know. We live way over here. We don't know what's out there. It's way far. It's big. We don't have lenses that can take us that big, and we don't have ships and things that can take us out that far. We have no idea what's out there. But when we look at the cosmos and we say, okay, this is creation, it operates through life force, and part of that life force is the righteousness system. The righteousness system is synonymous with the cosmos. The righteousness system is synonymous with creation. The righteousness system is synonymous with all of these places that we think of as, it's the universe, right? Because it's one very big system. One very, very big system. And the righteousness part of that one very big system, the righteousness system, actually holds the laws. This is how things work. Gravity works because of the righteousness system. Jump off a building, the reason you splatter on the ground, and this is the God's honest truth. This is the big truth. The God's honest truth of why you splatter on the ground is because you're in the righteousness system. This whole planet works by way of that. There's no getting around it. This is just the way it is. But because the righteousness system is such a key part of creation itself, of the cosmos itself, and because it affects so much stuff, and especially what we're looking at is life force, consciousness. We're looking at this. That's what we're looking at. It affects so much stuff that we're looking at. And because it affects things from different arenas. Let's say we live in the physicality arena. That's what we live in. We don't realize we live in more than that because we don't see it. We're not designed that way. But it's affecting the physicality arena just like it's affecting the energy arena, just like it's affecting the consciousness arena, just like it's affecting the soul arena. Okay, follow me now. It uses an aspect of physics to do its thing. That's why mathematics is such a universal thing. That's why aspects of science are such a, and I'm talking real science, not the bogus science to fool us and trick us and make us think stuff. I'm talking real science. It's such a universal thing. It literally uses frequency and frequency vibration. It is something of light. It uses, this is what it uses. And these things we're looking at, this is part of its specs, its specifications. That's why we're looking at it and saying, oh, let's look at it because it is quality control. It has an element of quality control to it. That is to say that quality control is part of its system, of how it functions, and we are part of that system, so we all work together. Because literally, people, honestly, honest to God Almighty, it is one thing. It's one thing. You have the righteousness system. And if you're working in conjunction with the righteousness system, then you are operating in the righteousness system. You don't have to because you have free will. You can operate outside the righteousness system. Unfortunately, you'll be unrighteous. And I don't mean that in a religious sense. I mean that in a vibrational frequency sense. And you're going to understand this better when I say that in the sense of vibrational frequency as the minutes pass and you keep listening to this and how important it all is. But because of free will, there's no law that says you have to work inside the righteousness system. As a matter of fact, we don't even know what the righteousness system is anymore. So working outside the righteousness system, unfortunately, in the world system that we're all stuck in, not by our own choice, but because, hey, that's what really happened to this planet, works a great deal outside the righteousness system. That's why it screws things up. That's what ideology is. It replaces real, raw truth. It replaces the derivative of righteousness is raw truth. And when I say righteousness, I mean the righteousness system. I don't care where you go in this universe. The righteousness system is going to be functioning very powerfully there. It doesn't matter where you are. It's one thing. And just existing, just being what it is, being part of the design, it throws off a derivative, and that derivative is called raw truth. And ideology is used to supplant raw truth. It's used to replace it with a bunch of stuff. And that stuff is not cool. I don't want to get off on that. We're going to do that, but not now. But it really is sad, 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 sad. Because this whole thing that I'm explaining to you in these 6 pages and more has been ripped away from us. It's so sad. It's so sad. But there is vibrations, there is vibrational frequencies, and we operate in them. We operate in them. There is paradigms of vibrational frequencies that do function through the righteousness system. Never mind the ideologies that come out of our religions. You got to remember something. The religions were once based on here's the raw truth. And then as time went on, people said, power, 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 I want more, 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 shut up, slave, that kind of thing. and supplanted that stuff with ideology and said, oh, we could have bend this to fit our agendas. And that's what happened. That's just simply what happened. So we're looking at this because we want to get to the bottom of how it works. That's why we're looking at the frequency vibration, because that is part of the quality control system. Tied up, wrapped up, part of, aspects of, here's the righteousness system. And why do we even need a quality control system? Speaking of that, because we're here. In other words, humans are here for a short time. Even if you live like Methuselah or Noah or one of those guys from a long time ago, hey, compared to the time span of the earth itself, that's not very long. Okay, let's say I'm 800 years old. Well, eventually you have to croak, don't you? Nobody gets off this planet alive. Nobody. As a matter of fact, and I'm talking about humans, okay? Humans. Not Melchizedek, not the Christ. I'm talking about regular old humans. Nobody gets off the planet alive unless they have some special help from the righteousness system, like Enoch walked with God and was not, that kind of thing. But when you look at that one aspect, it's almost as though you're looking at death is actually part of Earth. It's part of the system. It's almost like, okay, well, you're born, but you're born to die. Okay, well, that doesn't sound very cool, does it? No, but look at all the cool experiences you get while you're alive. Even if you're, even if you don't live a long life, you still get all of these way cool experiences that you need. You need them. That's why you're here. You need the earth experience. That's why you're here. But wouldn't it be nice if righteousness was not wiped out and you were on earth understanding the righteousness system? Then you would get a more enhanced system, a more revived system, a more imbued system, because you'd be tied into the righteousness system while you're doing all this stuff, while we're living our lives. And the paradigms we create in our wake would be way cooler than they are now. Way more creative than they are now. Just a better quality of life. Quality of life, quality control. All of us are here because we need to be here. Literally, I'm not making this up. All of us are here. All of us. If you're listening to this right now, believe me when I tell you, all of us are on this planet because we need to be on this planet. We need to be on this planet. That's why we're on this planet. If we didn't need to be here, we wouldn't be here. Earth life, or the life experience, the human experience, is part of something we need. It's important to us for some reason. It's important to us. That's why we're here. And how many, I don't know, how many billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of souls have walked through the Earth experience? It's like an endless supply. They never stop coming. But when they show up, and I'm talking about everybody, you, me, everybody, all the humans, we're talking about the humans now. When they show up, it's like, okay, well, time to start learning about your free will, kids, because that's a very important thing. You gotta learn how to work with it. First, you gotta tie your shoes, and we gotta learn arithmetic. Then we have to learn how to read and write, and then you learn all the social applications that you're going to need to exist on this planet. Oh yeah, and then there's the whole frequency vibration stuff. Well, of course, that part's been jacked up by ideology. That's why we're looking at the raw truth of it here, but all of that stuff is important. See, we need this experience. That's why we're doing it. We need to go, okay, well, I need a family, and to get a family, you know what I have to do? Come on. Come on now. You know what I have to do to get a family? Yeah. I need food. You know what I have to do to get food? I need to survive. You know what I need to do to survive? I need, these things. But these are your life experiences. And think of the cool stuff that goes on within the life experience. Imagine that if it wasn't controlled, if this planet was not controlled by a bunch of control freaks that are just going, shut up, slave. And if you listen to all the other ones, which I'm assuming you have to get here, I don't need to explain that to you again. I've explained it enough. But if it wasn't run by all of those control freaks and this place actually lived in alignment, atonement, accord with the righteousness system, all those cool experiences, we probably have 5,000 times as many, because we wouldn't be living as subjugates of some diabolicalness. Think about it for a minute. And why are we subjugants of diabolicalness? Because of the frequencies, because of the frequency vibrations. The people doing the diabolical stuff, they're not living inside the righteousness system, or they're not, I take that back. They are living inside the righteousness system because, really seriously, that's the only one going. But they're not living in alignment with the righteousness system. In other words, they're very unrighteous folk. Incredibly unrighteous folk by choice. That's what they chose. Now, did they choose it that way because that's the way they were raised and they wanted to make mommy and daddy happy? And so you're going to do all this diabolical stuff because mommy and daddy are diabolical folk, and you need to make mommy and daddy happy. You know that, right? Right, Johnny? Because your happiness depends on whether mommy and daddy are happy, and we're diabolical folks, so you need to follow in our footsteps. You know that, Johnny. Come on now. Is it like that? Or is it like, no, I chose this, just like I chose to pull out this gun and shoot this guy and steal his wallet? That's also unrighteous. That's diabolicalness too. But these things really are couched in, they work through, they're part of the system that runs through vibrational frequency. And the vibrational frequency is tied to the quality control. Literal quality control is literally tied in conjunction with and works through the frequency vibration of the human. That's why you need to listen to all 6 of these pages and their recordings, not just little pieces here and there, because you're going to miss something. This is a universe education we're looking at here. This is a tuning that we're looking at here. And this tuning that we're looking at here deals in righteousness. Not that fairy tale stuff you learned in church, but righteousness as the system that's going. Like creation and righteousness. That's a system that's going. I don't care what galaxy you live in. I don't care what color your hair is. I don't care what your flesh looks like. That's the system that's going. Period. End of story. Period. And understanding the vibrational frequency is so important. Not only is it so important because we're alive and we have to navigate our lives, we have to navigate our own lives, we have to navigate our lives. But eventually we croak. And when we croak with whatever our set point is. And because the whole thing is working in conjunction with physics, you can't just polarize to someplace you don't belong in. That's not going to happen. Never has happened, never will happen. The universe is not set up like this. You can't just polarize over here. Oh, wow, I live this horrible, wicked life, and I've done this complete life of living outside the righteousness system, being a very unrighteous person. And now I'm going to polarize over into this really cool super cool place. No, you're not. No, you're not. That's not how quality control works. Of course, we don't know that because we've been filled with all kinds of ideologies. But there are laws. Just like gravity is a law, just like air current is a law, just like water current is a law, just like speed, how fast you go, is a law, just like viscosity is a law, just like magnetics are a law. There are laws. And these laws are quality control laws. Okay? Now, let me intervene here and say one thing, very, very, very important thing, okay? Just like when Enoch walked with God and was not, and so it says in the book of Genesis, there's also things that can help you change your set point lickety-split, like really super fast. Don't think there isn't. There are things on this planet that can help you. They're divine things, and they can help you change your set point really, really quick. We have a whole religion based upon that called Christianity. Now, are they telling you the absolute truth? No! But is there raw truth still left in there? Yeah, there is. Yeah, that's why you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Okay? So I need to throw that in there so all of you people don't be going like, oh my God, you're a fiend from hell. No, I'm not a fiend from hell. Will you quit? We're looking at the mechanism of quality control. That's what we're doing. And your set point is going to determine where it is your next visit is. Like, where do you land? Okay, I croaked, I left my body, where am I going to land? Where do I actually land? Okay, and that's after you get to you're deposited where all the people croak. They go to one place first. Okay, that's everybody. Everybody goes to one place first, and then that's when they have all of the stuff like your soul's weighed up, they look at your video, they weigh your life, all that kind of stuff. But it all happens from that one place first. All right? It is a dimension, but it is part of the quality control system within the big system called righteousness that's tied to creation, which is an extension of the creative force. By the way, never ever let that slip from your mind while you're listening to all this stuff. It's all an extension of the creative force, i.e. God, if you will. Okay, that's what this is. It's an extension of the creative force. So it emits from the Creator. And the creative force, that's like power, power. These laws, these setups, these physics, these things are all part of that. So are we. So are we. That's why you're in the system. If you weren't in the system, it's just, this is, okay, I'm not even going to go there. Just think about it. On to the next section.